We three, we're all alone, living in a memory. My echo, my shadow, and me. We three will wait for you, even till eternity. My echo, my shadow, and me.
Crowd control is dead, baby. At least crowd control as we knew it. Echoes of CC is king or other similar sentiments spread like wildfire in the community back in the old days of Warframe, back when level, armor, and damage scaling were all out of whack, and the best form of dealing with the problem was to just ignore it. But as power creep made its way down the proverbial path of Warframe's life, as reworks became more complex, as Warframes became more complete, this game shifted into more of a horde shooter with a heavy emphasis on
leave nothing alive.
Sanctuary brought us timers that tick down faster than Halo Infinite's player count if you don't kill efficiently. Steel Path and Arbitrations become literal bullet hells as enemy density ramps through the roof. You cannot collect lemons just by knocking people over, you need to fill them with lead. Meaning kits with a heavy emphasis on murder, large AoEs, and nuking pretty much became the only way to efficiently play Warframe. That's not to say that CC has absolutely no place in the game. Valbin can group up enemies in one place and gets a damage boost to anything in his dirty Frenchy grasp. Enemies ensnared by Korra's dome make it easy for a one single target ability to hit dozens. Harrow can lock down anything within line of sight, giving him overshields used as a battery to buffer his attack speed. But when you take a step back and look at the big picture, you start to see a pattern. These frames excel with their forms of crowd control due to them primarily affecting the way that they rearrange their enemies' organs. Nyx has damage options, but is locked behind still being a chaos bitch with inconsistent damage mitigation. Hydroid can do infinitely scaling damage, but is locked behind holding chokes and camping in the most boring way possible. Inaros can stun lock priority targets, but in general star chart play, hell, even in Steel Path, unless you're doing the big funny or using frames that can supplement damage through your gunplay, CC just doesn't have any other place other than enjoying the slower playstyle, which there is nothing wrong with. However, Digital Extremes is even trying to kill that off. Arbitration drones being immune to crowd control, bosses and their minions having heavy diminishing returns, and lastly, the newest changed Eximus units being overguard, where 90% of the game's abilities just get shrugged off, efficiently killing an entire playstyle with how common they are in the mid-game. Of course, I can hear the keyboard crusaders, but Sab, just use the Redeemer, use the Kakubazar. Congratulations, you outlined one of my main issues here. I get that specialization of specific gear is an important thing in Warframe, but having to restrict yourself with an arsenal of 500 plus weapons to just a very small handful of meta horse shit makes me not want to play the majority of your game. What do you mean you want me to have the equivalent of screen burn-in on my retinas? Why the hell would I do this when I could reasonably do this? The best crowd-controlled enemy is a dead one. Unlike a large portion of this game's community, I'm not one to just scream, throw it out if it doesn't work the first time around. See Riven's, Railjack, and the Lich system. But this is how DE wants it, and in the words of Scott McGregor,
I think you're wrong.
So the best thing to do is retool it. Some forms of inconsistent CC clearly work on these guys, so just allow it across the board with a harsh penalty. Bring back some diminishing returns where multiple uses taper off efficiency. And if you're not going to, at least look at the older generations of Warframe with primarily supplemental roles that lack a proper damage ability. And for the love of God, Steve, please stop touching the particle engines, I beg of you.
Is that normal? Sabuuchi, what the fuck? What is that Warframe? No, I can't put this in the video. That's not family friendly.